All right, we're back with another Pick'em video. It is Thursday, January 23rd in the NBA, and we have a big 9-game slate, potentially one getting canceled, so keep an eye out for that one. We'll break all that stuff down when we get through the video, but I got 5 picks for us. I do have 3 leans in this one as well, so another 8-pick video. Did pretty well yesterday. We're going to jump into the recap, talk about some injury news, a lot of teams on back-to-backs that I'll point out as well, and then we'll get into some deep dives. I want to say thanks for everyone, watching the last video. We got a huge, following increase yesterday. So hopefully that continues. I got a ton of comments. You guys love my breakdowns, so I appreciate all those comments. And again, if you're new around here, definitely think about subscribing. Leave the video a like, comment something down below because it does tell YouTube to push this video out, and you guys did an awesome job at that last time. So we're going to jump into the recap of yesterday, jump into some back-to-back news, then some injury news, and then jump into the plays. Let's get after it. All right, so jumping into the recap of yesterday's plays, we had 5 green plays, 5 correct picks, and then 3 incorrect picks. We're going to break it down real quick because I do think the reads were there. And yeah, we'll definitely take 5 and 3 any day of the week for some profit here. But Cade Cunningham over 41.5 PRA. He cashed that pretty easily. Ended up with 29 points, 11 assists, chipped in with 6 rebounds on there. So he did cash also this 15.5 rebounds and assist line, if you want to count that as an extra win there. So good read there. We did have a pretty good read in this Atlanta-Detroit game overall. Didn't expect a 20-point game the entire time, but a lot of these guys cashed that we took, except for one guy that came up massively short, but we'll talk about that in a second. Kyrie Irving over 24.5 points. He dominated that line. I think I saw this all the way up at like 27.5, closer to game time, 28 even. And he continues to dominate Minnesota. Great matchup for him. He started off a little bit slow, but then definitely picked it up in the second half. They made it a close game, only lost by 1 with all the injuries to Dallas. So yeah, Kyrie dominated. Jalen Duren over 23.5 PRA. He was tracking pretty much the entire game, which I like to see. And he did end up cashing there for us, again, with like 26, 27 PRA. But he did his job, and again, kind of a blowout situation. It was like a 10-point game in the end of it, but it was not a 10-point game throughout the whole thing. So the final score there kind of misleading. Trae Young under 10.5 assists, another one in this Atlanta-Detroit game, which again, we had a pretty good read on. Ended with 9 assists. His usage was really high lately. I didn't check, but I don't think his usage is very high, especially thinking about how many points he scored and how many shots he took. But he still stayed under his 9.5 assists. Again, blowout situation there against a pretty good defense in Detroit there. So good read overall there. Julius Randle under 1.5 3-pointers made. He shot 2, so that was good. He did make 1, so maybe a little bit sweaty. I think he had 1 at halftime. But yeah, he just has not been shooting them. Wasn't a great matchup for him to shoot them, and he's been under that a million times, it seems like. I forget the exact stat, but it was like 13 of the last 14 games or something crazy. And I also saw someone comment that they took the under on 3-pointers attempted in that cash, just from the breakdown of how we do things. I talk about a bunch of different things while we go through the plays, so I'm glad to see people getting value from that rather than just like taking exactly what I'm taking. But yeah, Randall did go under the 1.5 3-pointers. And now the bad here, Nick Smith Jr. over 10.5 points, or 10 plus points is what we got it at. He ended with 9, had 30 minutes, and we knew he was blowout proof, but he didn't get there in the end. Did shoot the last 3 of the game, shot a decent amount of shots, just couldn't get there. It was a blowout situation, and he came up just short with 9, so not the worst read in the world. But he was kind of our sleeper pick of yesterday. Not hanging my hat too hard on that one. Trae Young, though, this was probably the bad read of the day. 26.5 points. Again, we talked about it at 27.5. I knew it was too high. I said even wait for it to come back down to 26.5. I saw it at 25.5, and that started concerning me, and he did not show up at all. It was a great matchup for him. His usage was really high. Jalen Johnson is back in the lineup now, looks like, and consistently. We'll see about the back-to-back tomorrow, but Trae didn't even come close. I don't really have anything to say other than he bummed out really yesterday. Didn't shoot a whole bunch and didn't even come close in a kind of embarrassing loss for them. So bad pick by me on that one. And then Donovan Mitchell over 26.5 points. He also didn't end up getting really close. He had 19 points going into the fourth quarter, shot 0 of 6 in the fourth quarter, and Cleveland loses that game. Someone also commented that they liked the Darius Garland matchup a little bit more. I definitely looked into Darius Garland, kind of a similar situation on how they get their points and how the defense was allowing points. So good on him for going to Darius Garland because he did go over his points, but Donovan Mitchell comes up just short. But I'm not complaining. 5 and 3 day. If you want to kill it, a 6 and 3 day with the Cade play here, I'll give myself that too. But yeah, we're continuing to see the board really, really well. I have added more things to how I do research, not only just like how many points teams give up, how many rebounds teams give up, but also how they give up these certain things and why it makes sense. So yeah, that's why I think we're seeing the board really well, and just trying to continue this. And then quickly going into the injury report or lineup news for tomorrow, there's a ton of teams on a back-to-back. So honestly, there's not a ton of lines out right now as I do this, late in the night before. But yeah, ton of teams in a back-to-back: the Hawks, the Celtics, the Mavericks, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Thunder, the Kings. So there could be people popping up on the injury report that aren't even on it right now. So just keep that in mind. Kind of a weird day to bet with all these back-to-backs. But let's also get into the injury news that we do know. Spurs, Jeremy Sohan potentially playing. This game is at 2 p.m. Eastern time. They're playing in France. So that could be a thing for Wembanyama. I think Sohan might also be French. But yeah, we'll see if he plays. Not sure. But on the Pacers side of things, no injuries as of right now. So that's nice to see. Should be a fun one to, in front of the Paris crowd. Those international games are always interesting. Trailblazers, we got DeAndre Ayton game time decision, Simons game time decision, Kamara game time decision, Chris Murray game time decision, Klingan and Matisse Thybulle out. So a ton of injuries there. I'm not really going to be attacking that one until I know a little bit more. For the Magic, Franz Wagner coming back into the game time decision rather than just being out. He could return tomorrow, so that's also another reason I'm not really looking at the Magic. We also see Cole Anthony, another big time minutes guy for the Magic here, game time decision. Batatse is going to be doubtful tag, and then a couple guys here at the end: Harris, Howard, Isaac, and Suggs. We've kind of seen their status change throughout the season. For the Raptors, Emmanuel Quickley is going to be out. That's the big news there. We've been attacking a few guys on the Raptors, specifically with Quickley out. And Agbaji is going to be a game time decision, so he's someone that you definitely want to take a second look at, see if he's going to play. Trae Young, probable. Jalen Johnson, game time decision. He was a game time decision going into yesterday's game, but he did play, so we'll see if he does play because he's dealing with that injury because they're on a back-to-back set, so definitely something to look into there. I think Trae will play. Jalen Johnson could be a late scratch potentially, and then Larry Nance, Reece Shea, Zeller all out for them tomorrow. For the Heat, we're not going to see Jimmy Butler. He's going to be out. He's suspended once again. Tyler Hero is going to be probably back in that one, so it could be a potential good look there. The only thing with this Bucks and Heat game is that we don't know if the Bucks are going to be able to leave New Orleans with that snowstorm. Their game got postponed yesterday. They're supposed to play today. I don't know if they're going to or not, so I honestly didn't take the time to look into that game for a game that might get canceled, so just keep that in mind for tomorrow. But as of for the Bucks as well, Giannis probable, Chris Middleton probable, same injury tags as we saw for the Pelicans game. That didn't end up happening. For the Mavericks and the Thunder, we got Luka still out. Derek Lively, I don't know why I have game time decision there because he's out for a while. I think he broke something, but he's out for like 2 months. Klay Thompson's going to be game time decision. Marshall's going to be game time decision. Hardy game time decision. So nothing new there. We've been attacking a few guys on the Mavericks, but just long injury report for the Mavericks there. For the Thunder, Chet, Hartenstein. I guess Chet's out. Hartenstein could be a game time decision. I put that in there because he is supposed to get reevaluated in a week. That will be tomorrow. So we'll see if Hartenstein is cleared to go or, we get some more news on him. I doubt he plays, but just wanted to point that out. And then Isaiah Joe and Mitchell are also out for the Thunder. We've seen them go to Shea, dominating obviously without those guys. Kings are on a back-to-back, but there's no injury news as of right now. Someone could pop onto the injury report. And then for the Nuggets, really no one out for that one. So kind of a healthy matchup for these two teams. We're definitely attacking this. I have a correlated combo actually for this Kings team. For the Bulls and Warriors, Bulls I would assume is going to be probable. Kobe White's going to be doubtful. So we've seen a few games with these guys in and out of the lineup now. The other guys at the end of the bench aren't going to matter too much. Definitely keep your eye on Sumo if he's going to play. Looks like he is probable. And then again, Kobe White, doubtful. You can kind of assume what happens with those guys. For the Warriors, bunch of guys out still. Draymond Green, Kuminga. Looks like Kyle Anderson might be returning, and also Pajemski, I guess, potentially returning. Looney on the game time decision report, so another one that's kind of up in the air for me. They do probably have a good matchup here for a guy like Steph Curry, but yeah, just keep that in mind. They're on a back-to-back set as well. For the Celtics and Lakers, another game I haven't looked into just yet because we saw Drew Holiday miss the game, Horford missed the game, and Porzingis missed the game today because the Clippers ended up sitting everyone out. I think they just gave the old guys some rest and the injury-prone guy. So we should see a Celtics team that's probably healthy, but I don't know if that on back-to-back set. Maybe they sit Tatum, maybe they sit Derek White, Jaylen Brown. We don't know exactly what's going to happen there, so I kind of stayed away from that just now. But for the Lakers side of things, LeBron and AD, you always get that probable tag, and then these other guys on the other bench don't really matter anyway. Then for the Wizards and the Clippers, who are also on a back-to-back, Bagley game time decision, Steek Bay game time out, and Brogdon's going to be out. Game time decision for Bagley is kind of interesting because he hasn't played in a while, so something to keep an eye on there. And then for the Clippers, I'm putting everyone in the game time decision. I think they're all going to play. They all sat today against the Celtics, or yesterday against the Celtics. So just keep your eye on it, who's going to play for the Clippers. All right, so moving into our first play here. Long intro, I know, but there was a lot of injuries and back-to-backs to talk about. And I'm talking Myles Turner here on his points line. This is a 2 o'clock Eastern time start, the Paris games. So again, if you're watching this and this game's already started, don't worry. We got plenty of picks to talk about about after this. But real quick, we'll talk Myles Turner, his points line. You can see he's been hitting this, more and more recently. And I think that has something to do with Halliburton, with that groin injury, hamstring injury. He hasn't been scoring as well. And this team's finally getting a little bit more healthy with Mather in the lineup, Neesmith in the lineup, and Turner seems to play pretty well with those guys all active. So another good, bonus there for a guy I want to take the points line on. But the big thing here is the matchup going up against the Spurs, who give up a ton of above the break threes, and they're also not very good at defending the pick and roll big man. That's where Myles Turner is going to generate a lot of his offense. And great matchup for a guy like this. So the chart doesn't look amazing, 50% hit rate for the year, but recently, last 10 games, he's kind of picked up the scoring slack that Halliburton hasn't been scoring as much, and we've seen him go over this in 7 of 10 games. So chart doesn't look awesome, but looking at the whole season, but he has been a little bit more consistent throughout the last 10 games here. Now let's take a look at the San Antonio Spurs defense. Again, points allowed 15th ranked overall, but to centers 27th ranked. Again, guys that can shoot threes and spread the floor even a little bit better. We'll talk about similar players to them as I did my write-up here, like I always do, giving you guys a little bit more information on why I like this, not just because they give up a lot of points to centers, but why they get their points in certain areas. So I talked about Halliburton being out of here, and he's kind of been struggling. We've seen Turner turn it up the last 10 games, but he's also going to strive in this defensive scheme. Above the break threes, they're ranked 29th defensively. San Antonio is. He gets 38% of his shots from there, so that's great. And then the pick and roll big man, they're ranked 25th defensively, and 28% of his points come from that. So 2 great spots for Turner to score the ball. San Antonio is weak there. I also want to say that when you look at teams that he's played that aren't good at defending above the break threes, he's over in 7 of 10 games with teams that are in the bottom third defense and above the break threes. So I like to see that. And then if you look at teams that are bad at defending the pick and roll, he's over in 8 of 13 games there. He's also gone over in 5 straight for both of those filters that you can put in there. So love to see Turner, hitting his lines against teams that don't defend this well, and San Antonio goes right into that. And we can also see a little bit other things like here when we look at similar players. How have other players that kind of play similarly to Myles Turner, one guy in specifically I'll talk about, but Anthony Davis, Brook Lopez, Vucevic, Nikola Jokic have all recently cleared their scoring lines. Not this specific scoring line, but where their closing line goes, they've been going over their lines. And the guy I really like to see is Brook Lopez thriving, because he's a guy that's, a big center, definitely scores a little bit in the paint, but can definitely shoot some threes like Myles Turner does. And he had 22 points against them on an 11.5 line. So Myles Turner looking really good. Again, this is the early slate, the one game that's earlier in the day, but don't fret. We got plenty of other plays to talk about. This is just the first one. Myles Turner, 14 plus points. And then on the other side of the court here, I really tried to get to Wembanyama. I don't think I'm going to end up betting on him potentially, but you could look it over his points line just because he is playing in France in front of a crowd that will probably know him. His family might be there. I don't know exactly, but he should be playing in front of like a home crowd there in Paris. So Wemby could show out for this home crowd. This just is not a great matchup for him. They defend the three-pointer well, the above the break threes where he gets a lot of his points. They are pretty good interiorly, so don't love this matchup for a guy like Wemby, but I feel like I have to point out the fact that he's playing in France. Like he could go off. Then moving into the next play here, I got Onyeka Okongwu over 13.5 points. I was definitely trying to get some other Atlanta Hawks, but their lines are either too high or they're just not consistent enough for me. Okongwu seems to be the guy that's consistently getting a little bit more and more minutes. He's now starting. He started last game. They're on a back-to-back here, which could be a good thing. Capella is kind of older. He might not play a ton of minutes on a back-to-back set. Okongwu's minutes start creeping up. Now they're on a back-to-back with Capella, potentially getting a decrease in minutes. That's just more minutes for Okongwu to have. Now he gets an awesome matchup here against Toronto as well. They give up 26 most in terms of points. They're also very weak interiorly, 21st ranked in terms of centers, but also just the restricted area defense they're not very good against, where Okongwu is going to get a ton of his stats. I got numbers for that in a second here. But yeah, his hit rate for the year, not very good, but he's also seen a bunch of games where he doesn't get a ton of minutes. Now you can start seeing those minutes start to creep up. He's starting now. And again, if this one isn't a blowout, it's a 5-point spread. Hopefully, one of these teams can keep a game close. It seems like they're always part of a blowout. But if those minutes are up, you can see this hit rate starts to get better and better. 24 plus minutes, 25 plus minutes, 62% hit rate, 26, 27. If he gets 28 minutes or whatever, 78% hit rate. So as these minutes start to creep up, which we've seen, and again, Capella might lose some minutes on the back-to-back, that's looking good for Okongwu here, who also has a great matchup. So I'm loving him. Let's get into some actual stats here, why I like him, the numbers and everything like that. Toronto ranks 24th in terms of restricted area defense. Okongwu shoots 74% of his shots from the restricted area. In games that he's seen 24 plus minutes against weak restricted area defense, he's over in 5 of 7 games. And he also scored 15 points against this defense earlier on in the season. He just played 18 minutes against them. So as those minutes increase, I love to see that he scored 15 points in 18 minutes. Let's see what he can do in 28 minutes here. So love to see that. Similar guys also, I like to point that out. Guys that are like, long and big, not like true, maybe strong centers, but lengthy guys like Giannis, Mobley, Jaren Jackson, Okongwu himself, all excelled against this Raptors team. They all went over their points line recently. And again, you talk about the back-to-back scenario with Capella potentially losing some minutes. Maybe that's speculation, but an older guy, a guy that's already losing minutes, maybe don't play him a ton of time in a back-to-back set. So Okongwu, really liking this. Again, couple guys that have been on the injury report up and down. Hunter, guys like Jalen Johnson, if they get somehow ruled out for tomorrow's game, because of the back-to-back set, that's just going to be another bonus for a guy like Okongwu to score a little bit more. So yeah, he's the guy, he's the hawk I'm going to go to in this pretty easy matchup defensively for the Hawks. Moving into our next play, it's in the same game here. This is Toronto's side of things. I got RJ Barrett. Again, I'm no Manuel quickly. I'm already starting to look at RJ Barrett. I'm already starting to look at Scotty Barnes in terms of their assists. But I like his assist line. I like his rebounds line. They're both heavily juiced right now. I think his rebounds line at 5.5. Assist line at 4.5, heavily juiced on the over for both of them. So I'm just going to combine them. Rebounds and assists over 11. This is at 11.5 in a lot of different books, 10.5 some places. I'm taking this at 11, either on PrizePicks or on Dabble, just kind of get that push potential there. But I like his potential to go over here. He's over in 60% of games. You can see recently he hasn't been getting there, but he's been very close, which I do like to see. And a couple of those games also include Manuel quickly in the lineup. So take him out of the equation. He's over in 69% of games. Now he gets Atlanta. You can see right here, rebounds allowed, assists allowed, 20th and 27th. I love to see that. He did play this team earlier on in the season, so I'll point that out. He did only have 10, but they lost by 29 points in that one. So again, he played 30 minutes. He's not like a guy that's going to get, playing 20 minutes in a blowout situation. They seem to run him a decent amount, but this is a 29-point game. It's tough to get, rebounds and assists in that certain aspect where you're not scoring and the other team's not missing. So again, you can point that as a bad data point, but I'm kind of thinking about it. If this thing's closer, gets a little bit more minutes and potentially more rebound chances and assist potential for him. So yeah, RJ hit rate is awesome. Again, I pointed out with Emmanuel quickly out of the lineup, looks even better. Then you've put in the fact that Scotty Barnes is playing, and I think it helps actually if Scotty Barnes is playing. 61% of games doesn't help, but also doesn't really hurt. And also the last point of reference I want to go to this is that the fact that they're away. So with these filters, with Scotty Barnes in the lineup, without Emmanuel quickly in the lineup, and the games he's away, he doesn't score as well in away games, but he definitely rebounds, he definitely assists. 6 of 7 games, crushing this line, averaging 13.43 rebounds and assists in those games. So yeah, I'm loving RJ in this spot. Not only is it a great matchup, but he's been pretty consistent on this line. Even those games that he's missing without any filters on, he's been getting really close. So yeah, RJ is kind of turned into a very consistent scorer, consistent rebounder, consistent assist guy ever since he got traded to the Raptors here. So I like RJ in the spot. Again, great matchup. Hopefully this one stays close. It's a 5-point spread as of right now, but these two teams love to be in blowout situations. So hopefully it's not a blowout. Hopefully he sees a normal amount of minutes and he can chip in with some rebounds, some assists. I like the combo line. And then this is going to be more of a lean because it's a plus money play on the over here, but 6.5 assists for Scotty Barnes. I probably wouldn't play this in the same slip as a guy like RJ, especially with some sort of blowout that could happen. That could ruin both your slips here. But Scotty Barnes over his 6.5 assists for plus money, that could definitely be a look. This is games without Emmanuel quickly and with RJ in the lineup. He's been very consistent at catching this. And again, we talked about Atlanta giving up a ton of assists. So I do love to see that. Again, I'll point out the fact that he did play in this exact same scenario against Atlanta earlier in the season. He only had 5 assists against them. So something to take of note. But again, 29-point blowout in that one. Tough to get some assists when you're not scoring the ball very well and you're kind of getting demoralized. So yeah, this is also a really good look. Again, plus money play. It's definitely a lean, not a full play on the video, but wanted to point this one out too. And then the last 2 plays I want to talk about is going to be for the Sacramento Kings going up against the Denver Nuggets. And it's kind of a correlated slip that I don't think people really talk about here. It's going to be assists from Malik Monk, and it's going to be Sabonis for his points. Over 5.5 assists from Malik Monk. That's crazy that it's still this low, to be totally honest. 54% of games, but since he's entered the starting lineup, which he's played 22 games, I looked at those other 2 games, but 20 games right here. He's over in 70% of those, averaging 6.4 assists. Some of these games getting monster assist lines, 9, 9, 9, 12, even did have 4 against the Wizards, but his minutes dropped off with only 30 in the blowout situation there. Now he gets Denver, who's ranked literally dead last in terms of assists allowed, 30th. Didn't play them earlier on in the season, but we did see Sabonis play pretty well, which is why I like his points a little bit more. But yeah, Malik Monk has been an assist machine. I'm riding this wave for sure against the team that gives up the most assists. That's definitely something I'm interested in. Now, Malik Monk has also been scoring the ball extremely well. He's averaging like 22 points a game the last 20 games or so, ever since he started starting. Maybe the last 10 games, I don't exactly know, but he's been starting the last 20 or so games, and we've seen his scoring explode. We've seen his assists explode. He's getting a ton of usage out of this team, and the two-man game between him and Sabonis is looking really, really good. His most assists by far is to Sabonis. I think there's 87 assists to Sabonis, specifically when looking at the numbers. Yeah, 87 assists to Sabonis. That's much, much higher than the next highest, which is DeMar DeRozan, and a lot of those are 2-pointers in the restricted area. Now, one thing that Denver does do pretty well defensively is defend pick-and-roll ball handling scorers. So Malik Monk might not score as much in this one, but that does help for guys that that are pick-and-roll big man, so feeding Sabonis down low. If he's getting guarded a little bit more, can't score on that pick and roll, he's feeding the big man, where they rank 17th defensively in defending big man pick and roll spots. So I'm definitely liking this correlated slip. Again, you can talk about the little write-up here if you want to pause the video or something. I'll go over it here. But since he's entered the starting lineup, I kind of mentioned this already. 16 of 22 games, he's gone over this, averaging 6.6 assists. In the chart, we were looking at the last 20. Those are the last 22 games. And obviously, Denver is a great matchup for him here. We just talked about the pick and roll ball handling. They're 4th in terms of defending that type of scoring. But that helps for a pick and roll big man, 17th in terms of scoring. So love to see that. Sabonis did have 28 points against these guys earlier on in the season. Malik Monk didn't even play that game, so I like that even more. Now he gets his number 1 assist guy for him, so would love to see that. And now they rank 23rd in terms of points allowed. Sabonis has been absolutely killing it in terms of scoring, and this is a great matchup for a guy that does a lot of his damage in terms of the pick and roll, but also, again, going into a guy that has Malik Monk, dishing and diming, him rolling to the rim and things like that. This is also a back-to-back, so I pointed that out, but Sabonis has been really, really good in back-to-back sets. I think I can do that filter over on Outlier right here. Games of day rest, back-to-back. He's over in 5 of 7 games, averaging 21.29 points. So that seems to have not deterred him at all as well. So yeah, really liking this correlated combo. He's already played really well against them. Now he gets Malik Monk, hopefully diming him up, and hopefully this 2-man game continues to thrive. Even though it's a back-to-back, this is a great matchup against Denver for him. So I do have one more play in this one, but before that, I do want to remind everyone, if you made it this far in the video, definitely hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, comment something down below. Tons of awesome comments yesterday. I love reading those, but also lets me know that you guys, like what I'm doing, and you point out good things. We had the guy that took the under 3-pointers attempted for Julius Randle. That was a great read. The Darius Garland mention, he was a great read yesterday. So a lot of, smart people in the comments as well, but it does tell YouTube to push this thing out a little bit more, works the algorithm, and gets the video to more eyes. So appreciate all the new subscribers as well. That was awesome to see. If you're interested in getting access to all of my plays, anything I play on PrizePicks, Underdog, Betr, Sleeper, Dabble, Flip, Parlay, play at Chalkboard, I am starting to mess around more with straight bets as well, as I've moved into a state that allows straight betting. I used to be pretty much just a parlay bettor. That's still my bread and butter, player props and things like that. But you get access to all my slips. So if you're not on one of these platforms, it's a great way to get in for free. All of that's described in the description of this video. Step-by-step process, very easy. So if you want to join the community, and it's a lot of fun. We're not robots in here. We're bouncing ideas off each other, but we're I'm making jokes, cracking jokes. I'm laughing in here half the time. I'm reading the chat. It's a good group. We take our losses on the chin, but when we're winning, which we have been doing a lot in February, in January. I guess I'll pull that up again. January, we're up a crazy amount of units. We're pretty much up month to month, most consistently. We're not going to win every single day, but we've been killing it in January. But yeah, we've been having a lot of fun in here. There's also some seasoned chefs in here that have been doing it well. They always share their plays. They know what they're doing. That's why they got the tag. You can share your own slips. I got injury news automatically pointed in here, so you get injury news up to date for the NBA, NFL, MLB when that comes back around, and a couple other things in here like polls that are fun. PrizePicks and Underdog math if you're interested in, do you want to be doing 4-man flexes on Underdog or on PrizePicks? Is it worth it? The math kind of breakdown. I did that one day, so I think people enjoy that as well. Yeah, it's a lot of fun in here. And if you enjoy these videos and you want a community where you can talk sports with people, talk props, talk different plays, bounce ideas off each other and try to win together, it's definitely worth a look. So definitely check us out. And that last play is going to be Nikola Jokic for a triple-double. He's got a great matchup for it. His scoring has come down. He hasn't been crazy scoring. He didn't score very well against this team last time they played. He had 20 points, but he did have 14 rebounds and 13 assists for that triple-double, and it seems like he's getting a triple-double every single game he steps on the floor right now. So he's definitely in form. The team looks a little bit healthier with Aaron Gordon in the lineup, MPJ, even Westbrook. They play really well off each other, and he's been diming up. He's been getting rebounds like he usually does. And yeah, like his triple-double, this is going to be plus money like it typically is. It's crazy that it's getting closer and closer to more of a 50-50 line for a triple-double. It's just wild to see. But yeah, you should be able to get plus money for a Nikola Jokic triple-double. And I don't have the stats to look at it. It's actually not even a line right now. No books have it out right now. But when it does come up, I'm going to be sprinkling a little bit on there as well, because he's been very consistent at that lately. All right, so real quick recap of what we talked about in this one. Again, if you want the real nitty-gritty, the deep dive in each play, go back and watch the video. But yeah, Myles Turner over 14.5 points, or I guess 14 plus points is where I got it on Dabble. Onyeka Okongwu over 13.5 points. RJ Barrett over 11.5 rebounds and assists. I think he's got a pretty good scoring potential here as well. Just don't love the line where it's coming out right now, but I like his rebounds and assists. Malik Monk over 5.5 assists. Correlated combo with Domantas Sabonis over 18.5 points. And then some leans here with the plus money play for Scotty Barnes over his 6.5 assists. Probably wouldn't play these two in the same game just because they're on the same team and we need them both to assist the ball. But I do like that plus money play. Wemby over his points just because he's playing in France. He could dominate. And again, he hasn't been scoring much lately. That's why I don't love where the line is right now. But he's in France, kind of a home crowd for him. And he could show out for sure. And then Nikola Jokic triple-double for him. It's probably going to be a plus money play for you guys. So that's what we talked about in this one. Again, like the video, subscribe if you are new, comment something down below for the algorithm. That will do it for me. Definitely tired, gonna get some sleep and then looking at the board for tomorrow. Tons of teams on back-to-back, so I didn't even get to see the full board because I do this late night the day before. I guess not the day before, it's just late night right now. So I don't get to see the whole board, but I'm definitely seeing some good value out there. Those are the plays that I shared with you guys, and I'll be getting back after it during the day tomorrow. Hopefully find some more value. So again, if you're interested in the Discord community, check out the link in the description down below to get access to that and all my plays and an awesome community. And I will see you guys tomorrow for some more plays. Good luck with all your bets. Peace out.